What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Dubstar, and we're back to conclude the 2001 album Make It Better. Hello, Luca. She's not sure what she's gonna do, but yes, the last track is, appropriately enough, Swansong. I think I've reacted to a tune with either the same name or a name including that phrase, so I'll probably be repeating here what I said in whatever that reaction is, which in the moment I can't recall. But yes, the idea of a final experience, a final send-off for something that is coming to an end, which, if it's about a relationship, is maybe, or I suppose any phenomenon, is a perspective perhaps retroactively applied, because sometimes, and in the relationship context specifically, you don't really know it's the final throes or the final moments of the connection, the process, the association until it's over, meaning there's something that arises or some problem that becomes clear that cannot be overcome, and you thus sever the connection, conclude the endeavor, or the thing breaks down and is no longer viable. But in that lead up, in that moment that turned out to be final, you might not have thought that. So yes, I suppose my only notable observation is that a swan song is perhaps something more commonly designated in retrospect rather than in the moment. So either way, that might have nothing to do with the tune. Let's give it a listen. This is Dubstar. The track is Swansong, and it's the final tune on their 2000, oh wait, I think I said 2001, I apologize. It's 2000 album, Make It Better.
I'm a liar, you're a cheat. Tired, you're asleep. Times change, and so must we. Old arrangements, too old to keep. So let us dance to the songs, dance to the songs. Those were the days, those were the days. Dance to the songs, decisions were wrong. Those were the days, my friend. You are homeless, I'm inside. You so bitter, I have my pride. Days are long when your heart is void. Swan song we can't avoid. So let us dance to the songs, dance to the songs. Those were the days, getting your way. Dance to the songs, decisions were wrong. Those were the days, my friend. Dance to the songs, dance to the songs. Those were the days, those were the days. Dance to the songs, dance to the songs. Those were the days, those were the days. Dance to the songs, dance to the songs. Those were the days, those were the days. Dance to the songs, dance to the songs. Those were the days, those were the days. Dance to the songs, dance to the songs. Those were the days, those were the days.
very intense, though subtly intense in terms of the song in the chorus almost seemed to get a bit lighter, and yet within the context of being very cloudy and feeling quite heavy in part because of the lyrics. And I was intrigued by the way her voice seemed to fade before the music faded. It was almost like a double fade because she trailed off before the rest of the track then began to gradually fade. And yeah, like in terms of a description of the stylings, I would say it was part Baroque moving into Gothic. Like the beginning sounded a bit more Baroque, and by the end it felt a bit more dissonant and Gothic. There was a bit of a funereal flavor to it, which would not be surprising given the subject matter and the title itself, the idea of something, its last true act before it died. And there was a bit of a score, like soundtrack feel to this one. Definitely different than some of the other... Luca, why do you attack my mail? Like, why? My mail is having its swan song right now. Nevertheless, yes, it had a classical meets score meets funeral performance, like a requiem type of feel to it. So fitting sonically and atmospherically given the lyrics, and it does sound like a relationship that has completely broken down on both sides. Luca, would you seriously just chill? Is that a no? That might be a no. But it sounds like maybe it's not being assessed as a swan song in retrospect. It sounds like she's saying that let's dance to the songs because we know this is the end. And there were a couple lines where I wondered if there was some metaphor, like emotional... She's attacking the wall at this point. Attacking the bad brains. HR is disappointed in you, Luca. But yes, it sounds like some of it must be literal, like I'm tired, you're sleeping, suggesting there's just a complete disconnect. There's not even communication, and she feels tired, which could be tired, sleepy, but not actually sleeping, though I expect it to maybe function on multiple levels and also refer to just being exhausted, just having nothing left to go through the painful talks or the emotional anxiety or the inability to communicate. So it sounds like she's tired of the relationship, but then they're like, he's homeless, she's inside. I feel like, again, that could be literal, but it could also be like he's nomadic, he cheated, he's going out and going to other places, so to speak, and she thought they were in this monogamous house that was singular to them, and so it feels like maybe that pair of lines is also functioning figuratively or metaphorically. But the line that she's a liar, I do wonder about that. Like, okay, he's a cheat, but she's saying I'm a liar, and maybe that's, oh, it's fine, I'm fine, or like, don't worry about it. Or she was saying things to keep up appearances or to try to keep things on the track, even though they were different from what she felt, which in some ways is understandable, but maybe also is a contributing factor to the derailment or to the separation that now seems unavoidable, because it was not, her emotions weren't dealt with or acknowledged in a way they could have been. So yeah, it sounds sad, it sounds dark and heavy, but also maybe a bit reflective on the part of the narrator. Certainly it's not a flattering portrait of the other. It sounds like this guy was a cad, or, claiming to be fully in, but clearly having one foot out and exploring other experiences while they were together. And now at the end, it's like he's not even giving her a conversation. He's sleeping, maybe they're going to let the lease expire, or they're going to sell the house, and so they're just kind of together for this last moment in time, whether that's, a month, a week, whatever, before they fully, like, physically split. And in that context, he's ignoring her. He comes home, he goes to sleep, he's not even listening to what she has to say, or not even willing to talk out what their final time together should be. Now, she is saying, like, let's dance to the songs, and I like the way suddenly that part would get, again, a bit more Baroque and lightly classical, but I don't know if that's, like, delusional, or that's her, commenting on the swan song. So, let's dance to this final moment, but not into, like, hey, let's make the best of the time we have together. It's more like, let's celebrate that this is the end, because we both clearly don't want to be here. So, yeah, curious, but again, as a final track on an album, that works quite well. Once again, shout out to Phil, shout out to Mark, who's been commenting, and any others who've taken an interest in the Dubstar deep dive. I'm not sure. I suppose, and in fact, I could probably look it up relatively quickly, because I'm guessing Phil has made the full catalog available in terms of albums. So if there is more than this, oh, okay. So there is, and now I remember this conversation before. So yeah, there is another album, but it's in 2018, nearly 2 decades. Oh yeah. So and then another one in 2022. So yes, they clearly, I mean, I wonder if this in any way is self-referential, but yeah, apparently after this album, they didn't do anything for a very long time. Oh, I'm in love with the German film star. Wait, isn't that? I reacted to the original version of that, didn't I? Yeah, by the Passions. So apparently in 2010, Dubstar covered that song, but it seems like, again, in terms of proper albums, they didn't do anything between, in fact, even singles, it looks like that was the only thing. Oh, and they did that for Amnesty International, so maybe that was a special little one-off for a particular cause or purpose. In any case, I am keen to continue, so presuming that's in the umbrella folder, we'll come back for one soon. Do let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Peace.